Good morning from the farmer's garden. I'm one of the farmers and I'm out in the garden right now. This morning we're going to be pulling up a lot of our summer plants, either to make room to replant or to let the second planting that we've already put in kind of take over for us. A lot of these plants have been in the ground since March and they're just getting really tired. The bug pressure on them is getting intense. And so we're going to take them out and put something else in. Right now we are pulling pinto beans. It doesn't look like we're going to have a whole lot off of them, but we'll see how that goes. What we do with the pintos is we just pull the whole plant, take it up to the house, and then pull the pods off and run them through the sheller. This seems to work best for us. Obviously, if we left them in the ground, they would continue to produce, but it seems like they kind of go downhill for us after that first round, and so we just get them out of the way and get ready to put something else in. So for right now, we're just pulling those and hauling them up to the house, and then we'll start pulling the pods off of them. All right, we finished pulling the pintos and we've taken them up to the house. And since we get to do that job in the shade, we're going to kind of hold off on it until it gets warmer this afternoon. And right now we are picking the last of the green beans. So what we're doing is we're going to pick them all pretty close and get ready to just mow these green beans out. This weekend, Saturday, is our last summer market, and then we're going to go 2-week break, and then we'll start up a fall market. And so this is just a good time for us to transition and not have the same vegetables that we've had all summer. These green beans are tired. They're barely producing anything. It's really almost not even worth our trouble to be out here picking them. But we'll pick these last ones, and then we'll get them out of here and have space for something else. Now, I'm not sure if we will be reusing this particular space again. I know some of the other crops that we'll be pulling later today, we will be going back in the next few days with some radishes and those sort of things. And we'll be getting broccoli and cabbage and cauliflower seeds started, and then transplant those in a couple of weeks, a few weeks. So that's just kind of where we are right now, picking green beans and getting ready to mow out these crops that are mostly goat weeds and grasses at this point. The plants themselves are very dry. In fact, I'm going to turn it around and let you see that. So here's the green beans. You can see we've got, I think that's some kind of rust that's on there. The beans are small now, and so just really tired plants. They've been going for a long time, and they're just done. They're just done. And so we're going to get them. We'll finish picking what's here, what we can find, and then we will just mow them out and be ready to disc this up and be ready for something else to go in. Okay, we finished picking green beans. This was 4 rows. So yeah, I'd say they're done. That's not much there. So now I'm going to be checking this corn. Oh man, the grasshoppers are in the corn. All right, so this corn looks awful anyway, but mainly what we're doing here is growing ornamental corns. So the plants don't have to look great. We just need pretty ears on here. So we went through the other day and we checked for them. We think we got most of them, but I'm just going to double check real quick and see. I don't think I can get this open with one hand. We'll see. Nope, that one's gone. All right, so like I say, these are just ornamentals, and so we're just doing them for fall decorations. They don't have to be pretty on the plant. They don't have to be filled out perfectly. They just need bright colors and an interesting look for people to use, on their fall mantles or whatever they're decorating. And then we'll also be bundling up these stalks. Some of the ones that aren't as grasshopper eaten we'll take with us to the market, and we will sell them as decoration as well. So what I'm doing is just taking the ears, and we'll take them to the house and open them, and any of them that are pretty we'll keep, and any of them that are not pretty we'll feed to the chickens. So that's how this process goes. All right, we're working in the shade right now. We have been pulling the bean pods off of the pinto bean plants. Oh, now I can't get one to untangle. All right, so we've got all the pods in here, all the plants, and we're separating the pods from the plants. Pods are going in the basket, and then we'll run them through the sheller in a little bit. So this is in the shade, and when we finish this job, then we're heading out to start pulling the squash and zucchini and the tomatoes, actually. So just a whole day of just pulling. All right, so we're up in the garden that's beside the house now, and we're looking at what's going to come out and what's going to stay. I told Brandon I'm not making a very good farmer today. I'm apparently emotionally attached to my tomato plants. So we've got some that are putting on new growth, so we've decided to just hold off on them for today, not make a decision on them right now. There's some here and some way down there that have new growth on them. Some of these others, like these guys, they're just coming out. The peppers are all coming out. We're not getting any very big peppers. We're having a lot of trouble with sun scald right now, taking them out, and the grasshoppers eating them. So peppers are coming out. The spaghetti squash, this is like its third or fourth go. This is crazy. Okay, so this spaghetti squash at the seeds, okay, or at the base of the plant, which I cannot find at the moment. But what it does is it puts out all these runners, okay, and it makes the spaghetti squash, and then it looks like it's just going to die. The whole thing looks awful, and then it comes out with this new growth again, and it makes another round. So we're on like round 3 of that with those. Yeah, see, here's some that's in the sad phase. It's just looking awful, and then it'll put out new growth. It's crazy. But we're gonna let it go. Gonna go ahead and take it out. We've got some worms. They're web worms that have moved in. I think that's one of the little webs there that have moved into the first planting of squash and zucchini. So these plants are not looking great now. It looks like we've got maybe some powdery mildew going on here. Yeah, that's where those little worms are just eating the leaves, doing a number on them. And so we're going to let this first planting of zucchini go. So Brandon's going to be taking all this out, leaving the eggplant, like I say, leaving the tomatoes for today. And then everything on that side over there, what's left in the weeds, is staying for today. So lots of stuff coming out, lots of stuff ripped up. The cucumbers came out about 2 weeks ago, I guess. Those are already gone, and then we'll be getting ready to put new stuff back into this space in here. All right, so Brandon just finished mowing in here in the garden spot by the yard. He took out where the cucumbers used to be, way up there, the zucchini row, yellow squash, and spaghetti squash, and then mowed, kind of swung through the peppers just a little bit there. So eggplant is still here. We'll have eggplant for a while. It's still making really well, actually. I'm fixing to go through the tomatoes. I'll just use gloves and kind of pull them up and take out the bad ones that way rather than taking out the whole thing. And Brandon is about to get started on disking this. All right, it's about 3 o'clock and I just checked the weather. It is 92, feels like 101. And I can believe that. It is so hot out here. So we're wrapping it up for the day. We're gonna kind of finish some picking. Actually, most of the picking's done. We're gonna finish some feeding and then we're gonna take the kids swimming. But I just wanted to show y'all the rest of what we got done today. So you can see this is all disked up. Everything got mowed out and then disked. And I have been trimming tomatoes. What we decided to do, we're like, okay, we don't have tomatoes ready to go in the ground. Next year we've got to plan our second planting better. So let's see what we can do with what's already here. So what I've done, and this is kind of a take on what my Pop used to do. He always took his tomatoes and trimmed them back nearly to the ground every fall. And so what I have done is I've gone in and kind of tried to find the lowest living part. Looks like I could have gone even a little bit shorter there for another lower living part. But the lowest living part, and I've cut down to that, and we're gonna see if they come back. Obviously there's lots of weeds in here, so I will one day next week probably try to get out and get some of the weeds pulled. But we will see if this works. Hopefully we don't just get a bunch more leaves. Hopefully we get blooms and all again. Looks like maybe right through there I could even prune a little bit harder. So we may get to that at some... Anyways, it's like 1,000,000 degrees. My leather gloves are soaked with sweat. My shirt sleeve is soaked with sweat where I keep wiping it out of my eyeballs. We like to watch The Millennial Farmer in Minnesota and the Veggie Boys in Pennsylvania, and they don't sweat this much. They don't look as hot and nasty while growing your food. But it's hot here, and so we're going to call it a day. We appreciate you coming along on YouTube to watch how we do things here on the farm and learn about where your food comes from. As always, we hope you learned something. We hope you enjoyed your visit. Be sure and come back when you can stay longer.